Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Biblio Fitness. Hope everyone has had or is having a great day. Oh, sorry. So today I did want to talk about aphorism 199 of the Dawn of Day today, which is called "We Are Nobler," in which Nietzsche does he contrasts he talks about the difference between what we now consider to be noble virtues in comparison to how ancient Greeks did it. And in our modern taste, we are more noble than Greeks. It's a good thing that we dropped what they consider to be noble and what we consider to be noble, which is what he says: fidelity, generosity, and a constant awareness of one's reputation. Very focused on very, virtues coming from a plebeian point of view, I guess you could say, not a patrician. You know, to be constantly aware of one's reputation, right? To always be looking to one's own shoulders, to have a double ego, to always be conscious of how other people are going to think of your actions, to always be conscious of other people when you want to take action, to never be selfish, to always try to be the best influence and try to have the biggest, yeah, I guess so. Um, so when we think about that, like the fact that we're more gregarious nowadays, we look down on the virtues of what the Greeks were. That's I guess a part of the the reasoning as to why we have tried so hard recently to disassociate and separate ourselves from the past. From drawing any inspiration, considering that what they used to idolize and put it as an ideal and worship um, don't sit well with us. Don't sit well with our modern sentiments and our moral sentiments. And he makes really good compare and contrast when he talks about, for example, how one of the ways that you could see the that because he says that we are still under the influence of chivalric and feudal nobility, and we have to remind ourselves of the words of consolation to which Ulysses gave utterance in the midst of his most humiliating situations, which is, "Bear with it, my heart, bear with it, for you have dealt with worse than this." Right. So, it's a certain stoicism, not very reactionary, not like nowadays how he says that we are so quick to die for some cause, we are so quick to die for a belief, or for to defend one's honor and to defend a name or a country or whatever the case may be, while Greeks were far more prudent, you know, far more aware, and obviously it's a contrast on to where we even see glory in the first place, right? We don't our sentiments are that we can't elevate without having other people around us. We're not good if we're not good to other people. We're not, we'll never be happy if we don't serve. That's what we're told, and that's what we consider to be noble virtues to chase, instead of how the Greeks were, and how the most ignoble secret, as Nietzsche says, is that the Greeks wanted to be tyrants. The only reason that they were pretending to be part of this democracy is so they could keep all of their rivals in check. It was out of a jealousy more than anything. It wasn't out of a sense of camaraderie. And even from their perspective, then it's more of a solitary, and the way you find glory is found within yourself instead of how we do it nowadays. How where power, where glory is found, and where it resides, and where it truly matters. Because if you feel power from somewhere else, you're narcissistic. These point of views are well ingrained in our psyche nowadays, in comparison to, and it really does cause us to want to vomit. A lot of us, when we look at how Greeks were. And he makes a really interesting point when he talks about when, Socrates started putting out these things that the most virtuous man is the happiest. Um, to them, people, he was like, these other men must have thought that he was a madman to hear those things, because for them, what the fuck is justice? Justice is subjective. There's no way you can make it universal. What is justice for one is justice for another. And it's just a weird concept. And for you to now throw it in there, and for everyone to follow these specific virtues and these specific beliefs to belong to a caste, to belong to a class, you are not going to be able to be a tyrant. And I guess that's probably the most important distinction, is where you find where where do you think that you are going to be able to succeed, either in the group or on your own. I feel like that's probably the most prevalent difference, and I guess that's probably, yeah. I guess you could really say that, yeah. Because when you want to be ruler, you can't abide by the beliefs of another. Like to follow these stupid faiths, to be restricted, to place yourself on, to place a ceiling over yourself in terms of growth and being able to grow and be able to advance, because you're following the wishes of another. So, and even now, how we comprehend and look at history, how we look at, what we need to do, to what is faith, what is nation, what is country, what is family, what is friends, to a man who wants to rule. There are no qualms in making all these sacrifices, as Nietzsche says. So, for a lot of us at our modern taste, that seems to be very abhorrent. Like, this man is a terrible human being and he shouldn't be alive. That's how a lot of us think now. But it's only those sort of men that really made civilization what it was and what it is, right? If you're not advancing, then you die. That's really how it is, if you think about it. You look at empires that continuously expand and none of them stop, and they're just dominating, and that's when they're at the apex. But as soon as they settle, it seems that they begin to decline. You allow other nations and other people to grow themselves and to catch up, and then to take you on. I didn't finish The Prince, but one of his initial precepts that I read before I started reading this instead was that a delayed battle is just to the advantage of the enemy. And the fact that, if you stagnate, you die. And you have to be constantly chasing, constantly conquering, constantly exhibiting power, and stuff like that, in order to grow, because that's just part of nature, right? Nature is a relentless pursuit. It's a relentless it's a relentless consuming of the old in favor and way for the new, right? So, I guess that's really an important contrast to take into account. He constantly talks about this. I'm just glad that he always puts out like a different example and just sticks it in your head, to be Machiavellian and to be, be willing to overcome and to be beyond all our moral concepts, these ceilings we place on ourselves, which makes us seem evil. But back then, to be evil is to be feared, to be respected, and to have a great reputation. No one's gonna fuck with you. It was a dog-eat-dog world. And that's how so many civilizations came and went and flowered, and we are reaping the benefits of that competition. We are reaping the benefits of that pursuit of power from all these different nations, and that's why we have all this technological advancement. It's not out of camaraderie, for the most part. It is camaraderie, but there is competition as well. It's a way to distinguish oneself. So, yeah. These are very important distinctions that one has to make, I guess, when it comes to analyzing everything, right? So, I guess that will be all for today. I hope you all have a great day. make beautiful games this weekend. So rest days for me. Love y'all. Till next time. Peace.